Aslamu'alaikum guys, welcome back to my channel. I pray that you are all in the best of health and iman. So guys, welcome back to a vlog. This is what happened in June. I just thought I would perhaps do a vlog per month since you guys seem to love the Ramadan vlogs, and try to include something beneficial for the sake of Allah, for the sake of our deen and our duniya, in those vlogs as well. You guys get to see that I'm just a normal regular person. I'm also living in this life. I go through stuff that you guys go through. My life is not that different, and yet still we're going to try to find ways to always remember Allah. So on the note of remembering Allah, today is the first week of June, and I have been encouraged by a family member to join a sisters WhatsApp group where they support other sisters with like learning Quran and athkars and things like that. There are already sisters there who are teaching, but I think they needed an extra pair of hands because you guys, you know what it's like with us sisters. We have the responsibility of the home. A lot of sisters are married, some are working, some are still studying, so it's always nice to have an extra pair of hands. So they've kind of shared out the responsibilities. There's one sister who will be teaching Quran, another sister who is helping other sisters with memorizing Surah Al-Kahf, and my job has been to help sisters with athkars and teach them athkars and help them with their pronunciation of athkars or du'as. So yeah, this is going to be my first time teaching them, and we'll see how it goes. And it's basically what I'm prepping for, and I thought I would actually share it in this video because it might help some of you guys. By the way, I am saying this, but it's not, the group is not open for everyone because it's done in a language that most of you don't speak. So I'm sharing this because maybe it will give you some tips in terms of how to kind of find a way to incorporate remembering Allah into your everyday life. I think one of the best ways to do that is to find something that you can do that fits into your daily or your weekly routine that is specifically dedicated to focusing on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for me, I find that to be one of the easiest ways to stay on track with keeping my focus on my hereafter and developing my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, yeah, I might know a couple of things so I can teach it to other people, so I make use of that. But yours could be maybe even having a time when you sit down with your children and you teach your kids, or booking yourself into Islamic classes. What do you want to improve? Do you want to improve your tajweed? Do you want to learn how to read the Quran in the first place? Do you want to improve your Islamic studies knowledge? What is it that you want to improve in terms of your deen? Pick a specific time, book yourself into a class for that, or whether online or in person. I know most of it's going to be online nowadays because of COVID and all that. Pick something like that fits into your weekly routine that you will do regularly and you will show up for regularly, because otherwise, you know, we all get carried away with the dunya. We all get carried away with what we have to just do to survive. It's not haram, but you know, you got to cook, you got to wash the children's clothes, you take care of your husband, there's all these responsibilities that we as women have to do. And I feel like if you find something specific and you book yourself into a particular class, for example, it makes it easy for you to remember Allah. I might be teaching these sisters these athkars, but at the end of the day, it's also something that connects me to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It helps me to remember the athkars myself. It also helps me in terms of me knowing that I'm doing something that's beneficial to my hereafter, and I've set up a particular time for it. Now, with these classes, I do them I'm going to be doing them on a Sunday, because Sundays are the days that the team has selected for teaching athkars, and so it's going to take about an hour out of my Sunday, which is quite reasonable, right? So although I'm already so busy and I have so much going on, keeping up with YouTube, keeping up with this lessons, and also my regular teaching classes that I do, it's a lot. But at the end of the day, I can't put aside my deen because I'm so busy with my dunya. I know a lot of you guys think it must be really cool to be a YouTuber and all of this thing. YouTube is great. I love YouTube as a platform. Even way before I ever dreamed of being on YouTube, I loved YouTube as a platform. But I don't see myself as a YouTuber like that, because YouTube is not my job. For me, I know my intentions for being here is for dawah. So even if I'm never on YouTube, if I decide I'm not going to, but if I ever decide to like close my account, I'll still be doing dawah, because to me dawah is what gives me my sense of fulfillment in life. You know, it gives me that sense of happiness, makes me feel like I'm doing something that's prepping for my hereafter, for the day when I'm no longer here. So whether I'm teaching a private group or I'm sharing stuff on YouTube, my job is dawah. My job is not social media, you know. So social media is just a tool, it's just a means to an end. This thing of remembering Allah and finding a way to kind of fit it into your regular daily or weekly routine could be something that you do by yourself. Maybe you have been taught tajweed, and maybe you've forgotten a lot of the surahs that you once learnt before, and so now you put a specific time during the week to sit down and revise the surahs that you've forgotten. And maybe you don't need a teacher for that, but the fact that you have a specific time for that can be very beneficial in terms of keeping your connection with Allah. So I just thought I would share that. Anyways, interestingly enough, for you sisters, the dua that the sisters are learning this week is the athkar that you make before a husband and wife are intimate. That athkars is what I'm teaching the sisters, and yeah, they're finding it quite fun. Some of them are pretty eager, you know, to learn that athkar. So I will also leave that athkar linked in the description box down below. The benefit of learning that athkar is that for both yourself and your spouse, whenever you're intimate, Allah protects you from the shaytaan and protects your intimacy from influences of shaytaan. So if you want to try having a baby, make sure you're doing this athkar before you and your husband come together, so that, you know, if it's meant to happen, it will happen. You get that baby, you have that pregnancy, and you have a healthy and God-fearing child, inshallah. So it's basically asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put barakah into what the both of you are going to do, and also to protect you from the shaytaan. Now, who'd imagine that? You get reward for doing things like this with your spouse. Yeah, you do get reward, because you're doing it in a halal way and not in a haram way. So Islam is a very comprehensive religion, alhamdulillah. We're very grateful for that. So I'm gonna stop chatting and get on and make these corrections for these sisters, and then give them the next athkar for them to practice for next week's lesson, inshallah. I'm not expecting a delivery. Bismillah. Yes, please. Over here. Okay. Alright, thank you. I have a delivery, guys, from Amazon, and I don't even know what I ordered. Like, what did I order from Amazon? This is the problem when you have Prime. You just be ordering stuff that you can't even remember what you ordered. It might be cleaning products. I'm gonna open it up and have a look. Bismillah. Fragile. I bet I'm gonna open it and then I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember now. What's this? Okay, upside down. This, oh, she's so heavy. Oh yeah. I remember now. It's paint. I ordered some paint because I have some DIY stuff that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna share quite a few of it with you guys in this vlog, inshallah. It's basically paint from Dulux. So yeah. Okay, I remember now. Now we're gonna get back to teaching. Bismillaah, allaahumma jannibnash-shayṭaana wa jannibish-shayṭaana ma razaqtanaa. Razaqtanaa. Bismillaah, allaahumma jannibnash-shayṭaana wa jannibish-shayṭaana ma razaqtanaa. All right, we're done with that. Next athkar will be the following week, inshallah. All right. So during the second weekend, what I really wanted to get done was to deep clean my rugs. I haven't deep cleaned these rugs in such a long time, so I had to get my rug cleaner out. And even though you guys can't really tell, it is actually washing the rug. And I wouldn't recommend this particular one from Bissell for cleaning your carpets. I think you should go for a brand like Vax or something much more stronger, I would say, if you have carpets. But if you have rugs, I think this is a great cleaner for that. And it did a pretty good job. I was quite disgusted by the water that I saw once I was done cleaning my rugs. It was quite yucky, but alhamdulillah, these rugs are looking so nice and clean again. But I was paying close attention, and in any particular areas that I still saw stain, I just went ahead and sprayed it with my method cleaner, like that thing gets everything off. Okay, so I did that, and then I used the small brush head to clean that section of the rug. So yeah, it did a great job and it got it pretty clean for the most part. But like I said, I wouldn't depend on this rug washer, whatever you want to call it, for carpets in particular. That was the first section of rugs in my living room / dining room section. But I also really needed to do the rugs underneath my dining table. So for that, I had to move everything out of the way and then really tackle that rug. That rug was also another one that I've never cleaned ever since I bought it, and I think I probably had it for a year and a half or so. Pretty gross. This should have been part of my spring clean, but never mind, better late than never. So that's just what I'm going to do here. Get this rug also really nice and cleaned. I'm taking a break now. As I was cleaning, you guys could see how dirty the water turned. I was like, oh my god, I need to do this far more often. So inshallah, every 3 to maybe 6 months, probably most likely every 6 months, I will try and like clean these rugs again, just so it doesn't get as dirty as it was. And it's so weird because you really couldn't tell, but once you saw how dirty the water got, that's when I realized how bad it was. So yeah, I'm all done with that now. And even though the rugs are slightly wet, I am moving my furniture back into place because we got things to do, okay? So although these are just the bits and pieces I'm sharing of my weekend, I also had quite a lot to do. My sofas, the cushions on them were looking pretty sad. I mean, look at this, it's ridiculous. Now the one on the left hand side is the one that I had filled with feather filled cushions from Deen, cushion inserts from Deen. I recommend you go a size up, but feather filled is the best, I'm telling you. The ones I had before was just a regular, I don't know what it's made out of, I think it's plastic that came with the sofa, and those were not it. Eventually they had to be changed because my sofa was looking pretty sad, so I did change those up as well. Now what we're going to tackle in the following weekend is that bookshelf up there that you guys can see. I needed to change it to match the other IKEA bookshelf that I had on the other side of the living room area. So I had my IKEA delivery come in and I emptied everything that was in that previous book shelf, and I literally just wrote, "This is free, please take," and I moved it outside of my apartment, and 3 days later it was gone. So someone got to take it for free because, to be honest, there was nothing wrong with it. It's just that it's been bothering me for so long that it didn't match. So yep, I have built IKEA furniture before by myself, and the bookshelf or the bookcase, Billy bookcase in particular, it's not that difficult to build. So I knew that I could tackle this again. I do have my handyman that comes in and does like bits and pieces for me, like electrical stuff and things. Like there's certain things I just don't touch, but with this one I was like, I can handle it. So I went ahead and built it up, and it was pretty straightforward considering it was an IKEA furniture, and we all know how complicated IKEA furniture building can become. But I managed to do it, and I was so proud of myself, guys.
Show me the way, I don't wanna settle for less. But my flesh pulling me backwards every time I make some effort. It's the snake, yeah, Robbie, I know. When I'm going far from you, I feel it, I know. And I don't wanna get lost in duniya, though. I'm calling cause I believe you love me. Getting better. I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Saying just to you, Allah, alhamdulillah. With you by my side, though, I'll never give up the fight, though. You are my lighter. When it's so dark in this path, I'm catching my breath now. I'm taking a break now. There's something that I gotta let you know. It's been on my mind, I wanna let it go. It doesn't matter what kind of success I got, is it now or the future? It doesn't matter, you and I are the same, maybe better, it's okay. Look at me now, I'm your brother. So never put me on a pedestal. I don't want more when I respect you, respect me back. Getting better. I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Alhamdulillah, with you by my side, never give up the fight. You are my Lord and you are my light. You are my light. I'm catching my breath now. I'm taking a break now. Getting better. I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Saying just to you, Allah, alhamdulillah. With you by my side, though, I'll never give up the fight, though. You are my lighter. When it's so dark in this path, I'm catching my breath now. I'm taking a break now. There's something that I gotta let you know. It's been on my mind, I wanna let it go. It doesn't matter what kind of success I got, is it now or the future? It doesn't matter, you and I are the same, maybe better, it's okay. Look at me now, I'm your brother. So never put me on a pedestal. I don't want more when I respect you, respect me back. Getting better. I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Alhamdulillah, with you by my side, never give up the fight. You are my Lord and you are my light.
That, guys, yes, I did that. I was so proud of myself, like pat on the back, Nafisa. I was so happy whilst kind of watching African movies, as you guys can see. But yeah, I'm that kind of girl that watches African movies. Anyways, ignore what's inside of these like cubby holes. I have not found the type of things I want to go in here. The other thing also that I did was I moved my coffee table away. I basically threw it out because I was trying to move it away and then it broke, and that coffee table was so heavy. Also because I needed to make space for guests to be able to pray whenever they came to visit. So with the coffee table being moved away, it created space for at least 4 people to be able to fit in, to stand in this space to pray. So to make up for that, I got this little side table from Wayfair, and it fitted in perfectly on the side of my sofa, and so I can kind of display other bits and pieces on there. And instead of having a coffee table where I could like keep drinks and things like that when people come to visit me, I can just kind of get one of those foldable tables, keep it on the other side of the sofa, and therefore I can use that to kind of serve people drinks and things like that whenever they come. to stay. And when I say drinks, I don't mean alcohol, because we don't drink alcohol, in case there's any Christians watching. And then when they need to eat, they will of course go and sit on the dining table to eat, since I have a dining table. So yeah, it worked out great for me. This is weekend number 3, and this weekend was when it got real, because I went to B&Q and I wanted to try out the paneling that I've been seeing literally everywhere. And since I am a sucker for anything homeware, I was like, I watched so many different YouTube videos of people trying out this paneling thing, and they were able to do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm a pretty smart girl. Like, if they can do it, I can do it too. So I went to B&Q and I bought the pieces that I needed. And funny thing that happened, guys, whilst I was there, because they was like, these pieces of wood is like 2.5 meters or 2.4 meters, so they were really, really long. And the guy was literally just looking at me laughing, thinking, how is she gonna get that out of here? But I turned around, and when I turned around, he was like, do you need help cutting that? I was like, yes, please. And he's like, you know, we're not really meant to cut that here. And I was like, that's okay if you can just cut it into halves for me. And he literally just helped me and cut it for me. So, you know, feminine power. Let's just keep it that way. So he did help me to cut them into halves, and that really helped. But once I got home, I measured it. I'll link a video to the for the videos that I followed when getting this done, because it looks really easy, but actually you've kind of got to have your like visual spatial part of your brain working pretty good to be able to do this. And it helps to have some help if you can. I didn't have help, but the fact that I had the wood already cut into halves made it so much more easier for me. So I'll link everything that I use down below, and yeah, be ready for the mess, because it does create a mess, guys. I'm not even gonna lie. It seems really easy, like I said, but it can be a little bit challenging. But you guys, if I can do it, you can do it as well. So look at that. Yep, it was amazing. So once I had my wood cut to size that I needed it to be cut into, I measured my wall. Come to find out, my wall is not even straight. Like, that was never a thing that I thought of. You know, when you look up in your ceiling, like you look at the walls of your house, you just assume that things look straight. But it's not until you start measuring that you realize that things are not that straight. But alhamdulillah, I still managed to make it work. I adjust my measurements to make it work. So I'm using this adhesive glue. And this is what's going to help to stick the wood onto the wall, so that I don't have to use nails, you know. So I kind of measured it up, make sure it was straight, and that's what this tool is for, to make sure that the wood is sitting straight against the wall. So I went through all of that, and then I stuck it down once I was very sure that everything was straight all the way through the length of the wall. So I continued to do that until I had all the 4 sides done. And yeah, guys, at this point, I was like, girl, I was so gassed up. I was so gassed by what I could do. So proud of myself, guys, literally. But alhamdulillah, it looked really nice and I absolutely loved it.
Show me the way, I don't wanna settle for less. But my flesh pulling me backwards every time I make some effort. It's the snake, yeah, Robbie, I know. When I'm going far from you, I feel it, I know. And I don't wanna get lost in duniya, I'm calling cause I believe you love me. Getting better. I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Saying just to you, Allah, alhamdulillah. With you by my side, I'll never give up the fight, Ooh, I'm a lighter. When it's so dark in this path, I'm catching my breath now. I'm taking a break now. There's something that I gotta let you know. It's been on my mind, I wanna let it go. It doesn't matter what kind of senses I got, is it now or the future? It doesn't matter, you and I are the same, maybe better, it's okay. Look at me now, I'm your brother. So never put me on a pedestal. I don't want more when I respect you, respect me back. Getting better. I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. alhamdulillah. With you by my side, never give up the fight. You are my Lord and you are my light. You are my light. I'm catching my breath now.
After sticking the wood onto the wall, all I needed to do was to fill in the gaps and then to prime the wood and then paint the wood. So I used 2 coats of prime and 2 coats of paint all over the entire wood, and then I also painted the entire wall just to freshen it up a little bit. And I did the same thing for my other wall as well, the larger wall over here. And guys, I loved the results, to say the least. It looks so chic, and trust me, you can do it. It's not as cheap as I'm hearing people say that it is, because by the time you've bought all the bits and pieces that you need, it does kind of add up, but it's definitely worth the money, I would say. But if you're not good with maths and you're not good with like visual spatial stuff, don't even bother doing this, because you will just waste your money. Just hire someone to come and do it for you. And that's what I was going to do initially, until I thought, let me try it out myself. And look at the results, guys. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love it so much. I think it looks so chic and I'm so proud of myself. So here is the entire living room and what it's looking like now that I've gotten those bits and pieces done. As you can see now, like the 2 bookcases match, and it just looks so much better than what it was before. Like, why do you have 2 different bookcases? I don't know. And my clock, I'm going to find a space for that clock, inshallah.
I'm taking a break now.
So you guys, I experienced like a moment last night when I was praying, and I thought, you know, it would be beneficial to kind of share this, and how in life, when you always try to prioritize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even when you're doing things that you feel don't remind you of Allah, you will be reminded of Allah, you know. So basically what happened was, when I finished doing all of this and I went to pray, I think during the time I was praying Maghrib, and as I was praying Maghrib, so guys basically I had a moment last night that I thought would be beneficial to share, because it reminded me that as a believer, even when you are doing things that seem as though they have nothing to do with your deen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always bring your mind back to Him. So basically, when I finished doing all of that, I had dinner and stuff, and it was almost time for Maghrib. So I went and made wudu and I started praying Maghrib, right, when the time came in. And as I stood there and I was praying, my eyes hit the wall, as in like I saw the wall. So basically, guys, I had an experience last night that I just thought it would be beneficial to share with you guys, because it reminded me that even when we're doing things that seemingly have nothing to do with Islam, because you make time to remember Allah, Allah will always remind you of your deen. So when I got finished doing this, it got time for Maghrib. I prayed Maghrib, and as I was praying, I looked at the wall, and as I looked at the wall, even though I should be concentrating on my salah, astaghfirullah, as I looked at the wall, what came to mind is that all of this, everything that I'm doing, as much as I love decoration, and decorating the home is not haram or anything like that, I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm saying, even though this is what my soul enjoys doing, it's all a passing thing and none of it's going to last. I looked at it, and literally the thought that came to my head is, one day I'm gonna die and none of this is gonna matter. And it sounds a bit deep to be like, wow, you got that just off of doing the wall. Literally, I got that off of doing the wall. I looked at it, and then it was almost like, as I started to pray, I had to remind myself that my prayers was my priority, and that's what's going to last, and that's what's going to take me through to my next life. And as much as I enjoy doing all of this, as much as I enjoy decorating my home, making it look pretty, it's like I'm not going to take any of this with me when I go. So it really helped me to kind of put things into perspective, and it really humbled me to be like, you love all of this. And then I started to think after my salah, so how am I doing with decorating my home of the hereafter? How is that? Because all of this is definitely going to end. It's just a matter of when. So I hope that reminder serves you as well, and it helps you, because we all get carried away with the dunya and the things that we love to do, and sometimes things are perfectly halal, but at the end of the day, just try to keep in mind that it's not the end or be all. It's not everything. So although we chase wealth, and we chase having children, we chase getting married, we chase having peace in this world, at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to last is the condition of your heart and the good deeds that you're going to take to meet your Lord, you know. So that was so interesting. I really didn't expect to even go there. I didn't expect my mind to go to something like that. For me, I was just so proud of myself, the fact that I was able to do this by myself. I was like, girl, superwoman. Like, what can you not do? You're such a go-getter. And then I literally started praying, and it all hit me again. It's like, it's all fleeting, you know. It's all the allurements of the dunya. There's been people who've been here before us, who've built bigger homes and created amazing structures and things like that. Like, sometimes I watch documentaries of like the ancient Egyptians and what they came up with, the fact how amazing the pyramids were built and things like that. And it's like, people before us did things so much more amazing than we did, but they're gone. So put everything into perspective, and all of this is just to say that you can always remember Allah through everything that you do. And even when you're not consciously trying to remember Allah, Allah will remind you of your home. He will remind you of the hereafter. And it was so cool, because then I started thinking, that's the whole point of salah. Like, you're busy with your daily lives and busy living your lives, and then you pray salah and it reminds you, right? At least that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to remind you that, don't forget, despite all this nice stuff that you're doing in the world that pleases your heart, don't forget that at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one that matters, and to Him is your final return. And the worship of Him is your purpose here in this life. So that was pretty cool. I don't often get those kind of like aha moments, but I did get one. Yesterday, and I thought it would be beneficial to share this. So you can remember Allah in any condition, any situation that you're in. And even if you don't, one way or another, if you take a moment to really digest everything, you realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide you back to Him, even when it seems as though you've like forgotten Him whilst you're doing the things that just please your soul, you know. So that was a really interesting thing, and I literally ended up just spending my night. I made myself a nice cup of tea, and I sat there and I was just thinking throughout the night until I was ready to go to bed. It just became really deep for me. It went a whole lot deeper than what I'm sharing, but there's a lesson that can be learned from a lot of the things that we experience in life, if only we take a moment to reflect. Hi peoples, so today is it's a Sunday, the last Sunday of the month, and I've just been doing absolutely nothing. I've been sitting down, chilling, watching TV, and just relaxing, because it's important to rest. I've had to learn that the hard way. Okay, I think about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, I just had one of those, like, what's it called when you like overwork yourself? There's a word for it. Somebody tell me down below. I know what I mean, but the word is not coming. So I had one of those, and I had to learn the hard way that, you know what, as much as I like getting things done, and I always want to be productive because I'm a workaholic type of person, but it's also very, very important to give your body its rights. Sometimes slow down. Have your days where you don't do nothing, when you just relax. Not literally don't do nothing, but you know what I mean. Like, nothing's really planned. It's just a day for rest. So that's what I'm going to use today for. just a day for rest. Well, the day's almost over, but that's what I've been doing, resting and doing some not very important things that I like to do. So right now I've been trying to sort out my waist beads. If you're West Africans, you know what waist beads are. We basically wear these beads on our waist. It's just what women do as a thing of beauty, right? So I have these over here. As you guys can see, they are very tiny ones. I'm hoping to get like larger ones, but then that would be whenever I travel to Africa again for holidays. So we'll see. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm going to loosen this part, and then I'm going to adjust it to fit my waist. So I have to do that for like each piece, because there's, I think, a set of 5 or something like that, I'm not sure. I picked those up from a market in Brixton Village. If you're in South London, Brixton Village is where I got those pieces from. You know, there's like a section, for those of you guys who know where I'm talking about, there's like a section where you have the Ghanaian stores and you have some other African stores and things like that. Oh, quite near where they sell the fabrics. Yeah, that's where I picked these up from. Otherwise I would usually get them whenever I travel to Africa. Anyhow, that's all I'm doing today. The day is actually almost over. I haven't been anywhere. I've literally just been laying down on the sofa watching TV and just chillaxing. I'm hungry though. I'm really hungry, so I want to make something for dinner. Kind of weird, but I'm really craving like a soup, like a light soup, but something that won't be too light, so I don't get hungry before I go to sleep. You know, because you know when you have really light dinners and then an hour or 2 hours later you're hungry again. Don't want to experience that. So I'm gonna make a type of soup that will keep me going until I go to bed. So at some point I will get up and go do that and share it with you guys, since you love to see like you love to see recipes and things like that. I'll try to include more of the cookings in my videos, inshallah. What I really should also be doing at this point is planning, doing my finance planning for the month of July, but I think I'll save that for my next video, for July's vlog. I'll share with you guys how I like to plan for my finances for the upcoming month, because you know we grown over here and we finance plan. Okay, we plan our finances. We don't just spend money like crazy. Like, we put a little bit of money on the side to buy whatever we want, but we plan most of our money. So I want to kind of give you guys a little glimpse of how I do that, and hopefully it will help you guys as well. But that will be in the next vlog, inshallah. So right now I'm gonna finish sorting out my bees and then we're gonna go cook. You cool with that? All right. So guys, what we're going to be making is a potato and veggie chicken soup. So I'm going to start off by washing my vegetables, and I do add a little bit of vinegar to wash my veggies because it helps to get rid of all the pesticides and whatever else they've sprayed on these vegetables. So that's just what I'm doing here. And then next I'm going to wash my chicken, and yes, that is apple cider vinegar used to wash the chicken. And you guys will see when I add the water what it does. It just kind of lifts off all the froth and all the sliminess that you can sometimes have with chicken. It lifts all of that away, so when you clean your chicken you notice that it's exceptionally more clean. Like, can you see all that stuff at the top of it? You wouldn't have that all come up if you didn't use the vinegar. So it's a good tip if you haven't been using it already. Or lemon as well would work great. So now I'm just going to go ahead and chop my vegetables and then fry my chicken.
I got is an out of the feature. It doesn't matter, you and I are the same, maybe better, it's okay. Look at me now, I'm your brother. So never put me on a pedestal. I don't want more when I respect you, respect me back. Getting better, I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, with you by my side, never give up the fight. You are my Lord and you are my light. You are my light. I'm catching my breath now. I'm taking a break now.
So the chicken is all done, and at this point I'm going to add my onions and let those kind of soften up for a few minutes, and then I throw in my veggies, and then I give that a good mix and let that cook for about 10 to 15 minutes, just because the carrots can take a little bit of time to cook. And you guys can see it marinates with some of the flavor from the chicken, so yeah, that tastes really good. I'm going to have everything that I've used to make this recipe in the description box down below, so do check that. But I'm just adding some spices in there. I believed I added basil and something else. It's in the description box. After that, I'm going to season my veggies by adding a few cubes of Maggi. And then I'm going to make a kind of like a thick sauce to kind of thicken the soup a little bit. So with that, I used about half a cup of chicken stock, and then I also added ginger and flour. You can use plain flour, is probably best. And then I'm just going to blend all of that up and then add that to my pot. I'm actually adding a little bit of chicken stock to the veggies first before I adding the mixture that I blended. So yeah, don't forget to do that part. And then I'm just going to let this cook for a further, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so that the veggies are nice and soft. And then we're going to kind of break our chicken apart a little bit before we add it into the pot to cook, because you want your chicken to kind of be like falling apart. You can also do this in like an instant pot, but a Dutch oven pot is also really good with this because it retains the heat really well, and so it allows like your meats and chickens and things like that to cook and become really, really soft. So I tasted this and I noticed that I needed a little bit more salt, so I added about 1 teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt. And yeah guys, as you can see, it is cooking away and it is looking good. The potatoes going last because they don't take that long to cook, guys. And yeah, I'm removing my bay leaf from the pot because yeah, it's almost ready. And just like that guys, after about 40 minutes it's ready. It's a nice light soup, tastes so good. And I'm going to stop this vlog over here before it gets too dark. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all for the sake of Allah. Inshallah, I'll see you guys in my next one. Aslamu'alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.